What's up, MPX addicts, and welcome to the MPX Rehab. I am your host, the hashtag Certified Mark J. Williams, here with my co-host, as always,
the voice of the MPX addicts, Kyle Smith.
And tonight we have a very special night. We are actually trying to get connected right now with number one contender for the MPX Championship tomorrow night at MPX's Destiny for 2022, Tatum Manning. As soon as we get all that taken care of.
2022 Rumble winner. You got to add that to his long list of names now.
Yep, the 2022.
One in a million. Well, he's no longer South Lake Sensation.
No,
he's not from South Lake.
Yeah, he moved to Grand Prairie.
The greatness of Grand Prairie.
Yeah.
Grand Prairie, whatever.
Greatness of Grand Prairie. Yeah.
There we go.
But he's the Sultan of Smack Talk or something like that.
Something like that. Yeah. He had so many. The only one that really stuck out was 1 in a million. So.
Yeah. But we're going to be having him on in just a moment. Because we're having some connection issues apparently. I guess go ahead and have him call again.
Yay, technology.
Yeah. Google Voice, ladies and gentlemen. It's always fun. But yeah, this is going to be a fun weekend, to say the least.
It's, we had a great night last night.
Oh, yeah. 5 hours.
Still feeling it a little bit. Yeah, it was great. I could listen to Kirby talk all day, all night. It's always great to have him on.
Yeah, no, it's like that was, like I said in the promo for tonight, it's like that was not wasted time, not in the least.
Never.
Just, there we go. Yeah. Tatum, you there? Hey, there we go. Awesome. Welcome to the show, Tatum. Well, welcome back to the show, I guess.
Yeah.
Because last time we had you on, it was still MPX Radio.
Was it still MPX Radio?
Yeah, a long time ago. It was like just before lockdown.
Yep.
And now it's MPX Rehab.
Yep. So how are you doing tonight, sir?
I'm good. I'm chilling.
That's good. So, tomorrow night, probably one of the biggest nights of your wrestling career. You're going to be taking on the Tommy Becker for the MPX Championship. Something that you say, and I actually agree, is like long overdue for you.
Yeah, I mean, like it's been almost 4 years. I had my first match in June of 2018.
Mm-hmm.
I basically grew up in this company, right? Mm-hmm. I started training at MPX. I had my first match at MPX and my first title at MPX. I feel like I've done pretty much everything there is to do here, and I feel like winning the MPX championship is just the next step for me. It's the white whale, I guess, is what is the term old Caucasians like to use.
So you are Caucasian, okay? Just making sure.
Very. That's actually how I got into the Chili Boys.
that is very true.
White Claw, white skin.
I had the skin complexion for it.
Yeah, that's pushing lines there.
Yeah, so I guess real quick, since you kind of touched on it a little bit, and not many people have heard the first interview, how did you get into wrestling and MPX?
I mean, I just grew up watching wrestling like a lot of my age, When I was a little kid, we didn't, in my house, we didn't do a lot. I didn't go out a lot. I didn't have a lot of friends when I was a kid. I just spent most of my time watching SmackDown on basic cable, before it went on like actual cable. Like back when I had like a converter box with like 8 channels, and one of them was CW33, and SmackDown was on every Friday night.
Yep.
And then I think it was my sophomore or my junior year of high school, a friend of mine from school actually found out about MPX. And then I went in for an observation day, and then a year later I started training, and I started training summer of 2017, which was the summer before my senior year of high school.
Wow.
Yeah, last night Kirby was talking about how he saw you were oozing charm and had a very punchable face.
Oh, was I? And did I?
Yeah.
That sounds right, yeah.
Yeah, some things haven't changed apparently.
Not at all.
Still got the charm, and according to at least some people, you got the punchable face.
Yeah. I mean, both could be debatable depending on who you ask, but, whatever. It's all perception.
Yeah.
If you ask me, I definitely have both, and I will wear them both proudly.
Nice.
Is that why you bring all the attention to your chest to keep the attention away from the face?
Dude, technically it's on the shirt, not my actual chest.
True.
I've been told my chest is small in comparison to my shoulders, which is not entirely untrue, but, not another person's place to say. If I'm going to rip myself up, I'll do it. I'll do it myself.
So, yeah. So how did it feel, honestly, winning the 2022 Texas Rumble, honestly, for the first time?
It's dope. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. I didn't have to do a lot. I came in at 28.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, for coming in at number 28, I did toss quite a few people. Hardakis being one of them.
Yeah.
Big guy, pretty scary, but I managed. I thought Isaac Mazer was going to punch me in the face. He did not. They both elected to walk away very slowly and broodingly. Wise choice, Isaac Mazer. But yeah, I mean, it all just happened really fast, and it was cool because as a kid, I've always loved the Royal Rumble. It was always my favorite pay-per-view to watch growing up. The Texas Rumble last year, I actually gave up my spot in the Texas Rumble to have a no DQ match with Frankie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I remember that.
Which was, I don't regret it because that's one of my favorite matches to this day. That match with Frankie's up there with my match with Dave at Purple Rain this past year.
Mm-hmm.
And then my match with CJ at Purple Rain 2020. I got to say, those are like my 3 favorite matches I've ever had.
Nice. Well, hopefully this match tomorrow night will rank up there as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. I always try to keep an open mind. You never know what to expect. You never know what's going to happen.
Well, I'm pretty sure we've got some idea. I mean, Brent McKenzie did say that Mike Fox will be in the building as insurance.
Yeah.
And
Boss baby.
So do you have
Boss
any?
Baby himself.
Yeah.
Did he actually? So he said. So he confirmed that Mike Fox will be there.
That's what he said in the. It was a promo after the show.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
I see.
After you and Sam Stackhouse just completely flattened him.
Well, I've never actually shared a ring with Mike Fox before, so that'd be super interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is a round no.
Yeah. What was it? So what was it like last week having someone like Sam Stackhouse in your corner?
Yeah, that was dope. Sam's a really cool dude. He's a lot of fun. He is deceptively agile and athletic.
Mm-hmm.
And he did, everything he needed to do and more. I got my ass beat for like 8 minutes, and Sam made up for all of that. So good on him. Great partner, and that's saying something because I've had like a million of them.
Yeah. You're what?
So that's what 1 in a million means. He has a million partners. He's the one. Okay.
It's gonna be like you're what? 3-time, 4-time tag team
1 in a
champion.
million means whatever you want it to be. And if that's it, then so be it.
Yeah, that works. Do we have?
But yeah, I like Sam a lot. I'd definitely do it all over again if I had the chance.
Awesome.
Nice.
Yeah. I'm really sad I missed that because he does. Yeah, it's like from everything I saw and everything I've been told, he's a really cool guy. And apparently, you really ticked off Kirby last night too.
Oh, did I?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was the whole whose house, Stackhouse. Yeah, he took offense to that apparently.
Yeah.
Well, just because you built the house doesn't mean it's always going to be in your name.
Well, I thought it was the house that Frankie built.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that say it's their house. So.
Yeah, true.
A lot of people say that it's their house, or a lot of people will say that, I'm going to run this place forever, brother. I think the term forever is used a lot. But yeah, You know,
Yeah,
what's
you and
stopping me
Dave love it.
from saying it's my house now?
Yeah. Yeah, you and Dave love the forever.
Oh, dude. Hashtag Misty Drake forever. And don't forget it. Don't you ever forget it.
Never. Especially not after.
I was going to say, after you and Dave take something and run it to the ground, no one will ever forget.
Yep, that's true.
Dude, that is exactly how it should be done. I'm telling you, bro. Dave is so angry, and he's more. And I'm pretty sure he's listening, right? And if he starts commenting, just completely ignore it. Dave was so angry because he came up with this. Okay, I will throw this out there right now. Dave comes up with a lot of great material, and then I just popularize it. I'm the Alexander Graham Bell of everything he does, right? So yeah. So Dave came up with Misty Drake forever, right? And so I start commenting it under like random people's posts, right? And then somehow she sees it and like loses her shit, and it becomes a huge deal. And she's all like, the thing is, it's completely harmless, right? But she's mad, and then Dave's even angrier because he wasn't the one to get that reaction.
He's mad because he didn't get to be the troll.
Yes, exactly. And you know what? That's why I love this situation that I'm in right now. I welcome all threats from Misty Drake forever. What a great reason to get threatened.
Yeah. And the thing is, it's like so innocent too. I mean, it's like it's yes, it's kind of poking fun at her, but it's not like any kind of specific, like dig.
Right.
Oh, dude, I love it. I'm so glad one of you or both of you brought it up. Like, if you could see me right now, like I have this huge smile on my face. Hashtag Misty Drake forever, baby.
So tomorrow night when you win the title, you have to yell that while you're holding it, right?
Is that an invitation?
I mean, that's what you got to do. You got to win the title, hold it up, and then do it, and then do the Terry Funk forever like 3 or 4 times.
Yes,
Get a whole bunch of signs that just
Terry
say
Funk
hashtag MD forever.
Yep, and then I retire, and then I come back 8 times just to stay really true.
Got to do something with those years, right?
Yep. Still young. I might as well.
You're right. What I guess because since you did touch on it a little bit, you started so young and everything. What is it like being so young in the wrestling business, and then a lot of your friends and peers and stuff like that are obviously older than you? Like, what was that like?
I mean, I welcome it. Like I got a sister who's like 30 something, right? Dave. Dave is. I don't want to say it because I know he's listening and he'll make fun of me. Well, like Dave's my best friend, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he's like way older than me, like way older. No, I'm kidding. But I mean, like Dave's like 30 something, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it is pretty weird when you think about it. Like, oh hey, it's like a 20-year-old and a 30-year-old, hanging out and playing Smash Bros. And we're gonna go work out. And, this guy's gonna like lock me in a room and do questionable things to me, right? Like,
sounds like the Dave we
I was
know.
going to say this is Dave we're talking about.
but no, I mean it was never weird to me. Like I understood when I started that I was going to at least usually be the youngest person around, right?
Mm.
It doesn't feel that way anymore. Like we got guys and girls that came in after me, right? Like there's a whole group of people that started training. A little after I started training, like, you got Red, you got Mikey B, Gabe, Tommy Prince, right? Everybody that I just listed is older than I am, but I call them like kid, rookie, right? And like, just because I guess I'm older than them in wrestling years, I guess.
Yeah.
But sometimes I'll be 22 next month, but sometimes I feel like I'm 40. And I know that's, somehow, some way going to piss off actual 40-year-olds.
Well, there was one match, I don't remember what it was. I want to say it was a 6-man, and we were looking around, and I leaned over, and I was like, holy shit, Tatum's the vet.
Yeah. That was weird.
That sucks for everyone else in that match, brother.
Oh God,
Jesus
yeah.
Christ. Leave me in charge of a bunch of rookies.
Yeah, no, when you joined the Chili Boys, I'm sitting there going, it's like, wow, he's the veteran of this group. Wow.
Am I? Dude, actually, well, not if you count CJ's the OG Chili Boy.
Right. So, yeah, CJ's the original. Just taking some time off. Hadn't seen him in a while. But, yeah, the Carnation,
Yeah,
like... I was going to say, like, the 4 or 5 we see all the time. Yeah, you're kind of the vet.
Yeah.
Yeah, like CJ and Corey were like, Sean and Triple H, and now it's the generation with where there's like 4 or 5, or we just lose track of how many of us there are.
So
we got Clausen, but Clausen is technically still a pledge, and I don't see that changing anytime soon.
He's the X-Pac of the group.
No, that's what I was about to say. I was like, he was talking about Sean and Triple H, and now they have this new generation. I was like, oh, so Tatum's Sean. He's Sean Waltman.
Oh, yeah.
Sean Waltman. Yeah, that's good. That actually got me.
So I guess Mason and Dylan would be Road Dogg and
they're the
Billy.
Outlaws.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And then we've got Clausen. He's
Derek's China.
No, not even China. I was gonna say he's the Hornswoggle. That really weird group where they just had him there.
Yeah, for some reason.
Yep. What was I gonna say? No, I've really, like, everything I've done with the Chili Boys, I've enjoyed a lot, because, and that's like, I know a lot of people are like, why are you joining a group? Like, why are you joining in a fraction? Like, I mean, not fraction, faction. Like, why are you joining in a faction? Like, you don't need to do that. It's not something that you need. You don't need a group of people, and you might just blend into them and not really stand out. But it's not about like need, like it's just a group of guys that I really like and that I consider friends. I want to work with my friends and have fun with my friends.
Mm-hmm.
So the Chili Boy stuff has been super cool and a lot of fun.
Nice.
Yeah, I figured it's like when I first saw them pop up, I'm sitting here going, it's like they remind me very much of Menage a Trois without the sexual overtones.
Do they?
Yeah, just a bit. CJ might have something to do with that.
I'll tell you this: for being as inexperienced and as green and as scared as I was around that time, dude, Menage a Trois is some of the most fun I've ever had.
Oh yeah.
Times were much simpler when it was just me, Larry, and CJ, making dick jokes, not a care in the world.
Yeah.
And now it's just me, like, I'll fight like 5-6 people at a time, and I don't know why I put myself in these situations. I just do, right? But everybody's got to learn and grow at their own pace, some way, somehow.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, well, you're doing a pretty good job of that, so
Doing what I can, brother.
So apparently one of our first questions, Chris Fulmer wants to know, he goes, are we going to talk about the Kobe helicopter spin elbow drop? Because that was hilarious.
We're getting questions now.
Yeah.
So, yes, I will gladly answer any Chris's questions. This was the time, I was Addicts champ, and it was me and Wesley, champion versus champion main event. And Kobe had just died, right? He had died, he had passed away that week. And as a kid, I love Kobe Bryant, right? I feel like a lot of, young kids my age love Kobe Bryant, kids who grew up in the early 2000s. And I was actually going to, instead of the ball and elbow, I was going to do like the ball and gimmick, right? And, yell Kobe as a tribute. And then I realized, I'm like, I'm a heel, and I shouldn't do like things that, basically my job is to piss people off as much as I can. So I went out there and I did it, right? I went, Kobe, and I just started going, oh, boo-hoo, and everyone's like, oh, no. You hear people like groan, and they're like, oh, that's so messed up. And then like whatever, I just decided to do, like take it one step even further, which is way too far, and do the helicopter spin. And, I will say this. I don't regret it at all. That's one of the greatest, most genuine reactions I've ever gotten from a crowd of people ever.
I thought you were going to get stabbed that night.
Dude, here's the thing. I did too, and I didn't, so score.
Yeah.
What, I guess would you say you have any regrets that maybe you crossed the line too much? Because with Menage a Trois, that y'all did a lot and stuff like that, or is that probably the closest thing you're like, that's the one that was like, like you said, you don't regret it, but you're like, it was a little far.
Dude, I remember one time there was this little kid, and he kept testing me, bro. I mean, testing me. And, like, I was like, bro, because, like, he was just, like, yelling, and, like, he, like, took a little swing at me, and he's, like, I'm 5 or, like, 8. I don't know. I don't guess kids' ages. And but, like, he kept yelling stuff at me, and I was like, whatever, shut up, little kid. And he goes, you can't wrestle. And I was like, oh, all right. So I circle around the ring. I wasn't even in the match. I think I was managing Larry in a match. And this kid yelled one more thing at me, and I just interrupted him. And I got like an inch away from his face. And I said, I will be your stepdad tomorrow. And the entire crowd goes, oh my God! And bro, I'm pretty sure this kid started crying.
That's heel work right there.
But look, whether the kid cried or not, I think that's my greatest moment.
Making kids cry before Matlock.
Whatever. Anything Matlock can do, I can do better, like, for one, wear a red hat.
So yeah, I guess you kind of did bring it up. Who do you want to make fun of first? And I've already had 2 people say Red. So do you want to go ahead and kind of talk about Red real quick? Get it out of the way?
Dude, I don't know. I think Red is just a little too easy, Like Wendy, like that didn't take a lot, Very low-hanging fruit joke. If he doesn't make, shirts with his face on the Wendy's girl, I'll do it for him.
I mean, it worked out for you when you fell and Dave gave you the idea for the shirts.
Dude, whatever.
I still have my Tatum Fell shirt.
The Tatum Fell shirt was great. And the Fallout Boy, everything about that was amazing. You took something bad and made it work.
Dude, here we are making fun of other people, and then you want to do something absolutely 100% reasonable and make fun of me. That's not cool, bro. Nah, but Red, yeah, I'm just getting this new vibe from Red. Like every time I see him, I think of Chris Jericho in WCW, like cruiserweight champion Chris Jericho, and it makes me want to punch him in the face so hard.
Well, you were the first smart one that when you entered the ring, at the Rumble, you kind of knew what he was about then.
Yep. None of this.
Well, I didn't see what had happened with Noah, but I helped him up, hugged me. Oh, hey, what's up, bro? And then he wanted to kick me in the gut. So I kicked him in the face, super hard.
Yeah.
Lizzie says she's still got 2 Tatum Fell shirts.
Who has 2 Tatum Fell shirts?
Lizzie.
Oh, okay.
Apparently she's watching too.
I believe it. Oh my God.
You're going to get phone calls later tonight.
And Sydney says she's already making the shirts.
Nice.
Making Wendy shirts?
Yep.
Yes. That's what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about.
Which by far, next to the Tatum Fell shirt, your new one, the Scott Pilgrim inspired one, is probably one of my favorite shirts that has ever been made.
Dude, yeah. So as soon as I got kicked out of Menage a Trois, I think it was the night that I had a match. It was me and a mystery partner versus Larry and CJ. I think it was Suckers for Pain was the name of the show. And we did this interview with me and Andre, my boy Andre Dior, I miss my boy Andre. I don't know who these new interviewers are, but I don't like them. I want Andre back. We had done this interview, and I closed it out, and I said, it doesn't matter, who my partner is. As far as I'm concerned, it's always going to be Tatum Manning versus the world. Mm-hmm. And then I went back and I watched that promo, and I was like, oh, that's cool, right? Like, Super Bad is like favorite movies of all time.
Yep.
And like I used to work out this Scott Pilgrim soundtrack all the time, and I love the movie posters. So it's like, there's a way that I could get myself like on, like it, just instead of Michael Cera, it's like a cartoon drawing of me instead. That'd be super cool, right? Yep. And then Sydney is really good. She's like a super talented artist. So I asked her if she could do it, and she said yeah. And like it came out like really really cool. Which is why I'm selling every size at $30, plugging my shirts, brother. But yeah, that's why I have to sell every size at $30 with a 6-color print. But I'm super happy with the way they turned out. They're dope.
Yeah, they're amazing, and it also incorporated because your new music pull it with the guitar and everything like that. It seemed to all work kind of perfectly together.
Pull it. Dude, I love that song. You know why I love that song? Because Dave Sagan absolutely. That's why.
I was gonna say, I'm pretty sure Dave has a hand of it, but how did you kind of come up with that and decide to use that instead of "Welcome to the Party," which was one of the best entrant music we had at MPX at the time?
Yes, I know. Everyone loves "Welcome to the Party." Everyone misses "Welcome to the Party." No, I mean, "Welcome to the Party" is a dope song. But like, here's the reason that I had originally stopped using "Welcome to the Party," because as soon as I got out of Menage 12, I don't know, like. Welcome to Party was always an Ajay 12 song, not my song.
Yeah.
You know? When I heard Welcome to the Party, I didn't think, me and Tatum Manning, I thought of Menage 12. So I was surprised when Larry and CJ went with new music after they kicked me out. But I hung on to Welcome to the Party for a little while. And then after a little bit, I was like, I want to do something new, right? Like, I want to move on. I want to, this doesn't feel like me anymore, and then I found, Pull It on Spotify when I was like a freshman in high school. And I was like, the song, with Cash, right? And I rediscovered that song. And I was actually for the time at Destiny last year when I was Dave's mystery partner against fucking Ryan. But we just ended up using the party instead. And then after that, after Dave turned on me, douchebag, I started using Cool It, right? And Dave just absolutely despised that song. Like, he hates it to this day. And when the first time he heard it, he was like, "This is absolute dog shit." And I was like, "Dude, this song is dope. People can chant to it. Pull it. And he goes, "Yeah, but pull it doesn't even mean anything." He was just he was unreasonably upset with my song choice, right? And I was like, "Dude, I'm going to use," because I started using that song in singles matches while we were still tagging, and that's when he heard it, he hated it, right? I think the first time we used Pull It was in my match with ACH, where he beat my ass for 12 minutes. He just liked that song, and that just made me like it way more, right? So what I started doing was making fun of me on the show. Every time we played my music, Dave, if he had a mic, pull it, and then sure enough, other people started doing it. And, you give it a few months, and I come out there, and everybody go, pull it, so that's cool, right?
And then some people thinking they're clever with the bop it, twist it.
Dude, makes for great memes. I'll give them that,
Yeah.
Since you did talk about it a little bit, you talked about your match with ACH. You also were in there with Dango. What was it like, kind of, again, being kind of young in your career, being with some of the best in the world? What is that like, being so young and everything?
I mean, it's cool when I see a poster, or I find out that I'm getting to work with somebody that I grew up watching on TV, right? That's dope, Dongo is one of my favorite people that I've worked with, because it was originally what was supposed to be me versus Dongo, which ended up being me versus Dongo versus Sexodus Prime, and for inserting himself into a match, he sure was the first one to get eliminated.
Yeah.
As soon as he got eliminated, maybe you'd be able to see it on my face on the network, but I was like, oh, okay, this is what this was originally supposed to be. Here we go. This is the big boy time. And dude, let me tell you, bro. Everybody loves chops. Everybody loves seeing and hearing chops. They're like, oh my god, right? And I've taken some pretty stiff chops. I hit Exodus, and he rolls out of the ring. And I'm G'ing up, right? I got all this energy in me. I'm and I turn around, and Dongo's right there, and he chops me. And my soul just, left my body. Like, it sounded like a shotgun blast, and I have a screenshot of my face when he shot me. I'll even post it in the ad space. It's pretty funny. Because I'm like, ooh, right? Like, I made like a Minecraft noise as soon as he shot me. I was like, ooh. That is the single hardest chop I've taken in my entire life.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was dope. But he was, super cool guy. And like, having like a fun, but also at the same time, very competitive back and forth with him was really cool. Swoggle is dope because the first time he came in, it was actually Swoggle and Kirby versus me and Dex.
Yeah.
And he just, gave me a purple nurple, took a bite out of my ass cheek. Just made me look dumb. But then the next time around, I actually get to tag with him. That was super cool, and he's a really fun guy.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, like you never know what to expect with anybody, right? Like I've been in matches with people where I'm like, oh, okay, this is gonna be super dope, right? And then it doesn't go the way that I expected, for a bunch of different reasons, right? Maybe I wasn't on my game. Maybe I just wasn't, feeling it in that moment. But then I've had, matches where I'm like, oh, okay, I know what I'm getting into, and, this will be all right. And that's way better than I expected, So for having the experiences that I've had so far, like I just consider myself blessed. I've had tons of fun so far, and again, I'm still pretty young, so hopefully, unless I land on my head tomorrow night or something, I've got a lot of time ahead of me.
Let's not tempt fate on that one.
Dude, I don't care.
What
Dude, if it happens, life well lived, brother.
Fair, yeah.
So you mentioned it earlier, Exodus. It seems almost immediately you and Exodus had great chemistry in the ring. Would you say that's probably the one?
Oh, dude, well,
go ahead.
Well, it's beef on site. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I don't know how we found ourselves in a situation where like we've walked into multiple promotions and found ourselves in the same ring at the same time, right?
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, there's that chemistry. And I think that mainly it's just the fact that we are two. In a way, we're two people who are kind of similar, but also very, very different. And we're just two like very confident, very swagger-like people, right?
Yeah.
And sometimes that those two big personalities in a ring like that can clash. Sometimes they work well together. Man, if you ask me, I've never had a bad match with Exodus Prime.
No.
Not that I've seen.
And
no.
I think that he is one of those people that has always, pushed me to better myself, like physically and mentally. But, screw that guy.
Yeah.
I was going to say, I look at it very much like talking about you and Exodus. I look at it a lot like Rock and Awesome when they talked about, no, we just wanted to one up each other every time. And every time I see y'all in the ring against each other, that's what it looks like. Like you actually feel that emotion as far as a fan in the crowd. Mm-hmm. You feel that emotion of you and Exodus are literally trying to one up each other every time y'all go out there.
Oh, dude. If you go back and look at our one-on-one, is the last time we had a one-on-one match in MPX, and it was this past November. And I did the whole I clapped and fell down and had Gabe kicked out and then rolled up Exodus 1, 2, 3. Man, the bell rang and we kind of just southpawed it. Man, we just walked right into each other and started throwing bombs for like a ridiculous amount of time. Like you see, we were just like back and forth for like what felt like forever. And yeah, man, like I think that our first match was in November of 2020. Is for the Addicts title.
Mm-hmm.
And at the time, like as soon as that match was over, as soon as the bell rang, I was like, yo, that was dope, right? Like that's got to be one of the best matches I've ever had. That's like one of the best, most competitive matches that I've ever had. And then, like you look at our match that we had in November, like it's like even better than that, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's just one of those cases and like one of those people, and one of those feuds that has like gotten me to where I am.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, I've had people who've been doing this for like 5, 6 years tell me like, hey, you know, you're better than I was when I was at, you know, the point that you're at right now. Like, you're better than I was when I was 3 years in, right? And I think that a lot of that has to do with the fact that, you know, I've been wrestling almost every week, sometimes more than once a week, for the past 3-4 years, right?
Yeah.
And, you know, that's why I immediately loved MPX as much as I did and as much as I do, because it's weekly, you know, televised, in a way televised with the network. It's weekly episodic wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, and now that I've been around, you know, I've been to a lot of different promotions in Texas. You know, I haven't wrestled outside the state yet. I'm working on that. But
you got one in May
I've been
coming up,
around
right?
now. What's up?
You have one in May, right? Aren't you and Dave out of state somewhere teaming?
Oh, no. Dave canceled because, you know, he's Dave.
Okay.
No, I'm kidding. He has to cancel.
Sorry, never mind.
But yeah, I've been around at this point, and like MPX, there's nothing else around like it, like that I know of or that I've even ever heard of.
Right.
Because it's weekly episodic wrestling that is done like so well. You know, it's just a great product. And as a kid who like fell in love with pro wrestling at a really young age because of like the continual storytelling, and like these two guys hate each other, and this is why. This is what happened last week. Here's what you can expect next week, right? That's how you really like reel in an audience and keep them hooked, right?
Mm-hmm.
And like the best way to do that is weekly episodic material, you know, and that's what we put out there. And I think that's why we've gotten, you know, such a good loyal crowd for so long. So yeah, man. Now that I've been around, there's still just, you know, I like other places. You know, there are other places that I love to work at. You know, I like DFW All Pro a lot. There's a great environment over there. I've been to New Texas Pro. I love New Texas. It's a dope product, right? I'll be back eventually.
Yeah.
But like MPX will always be my home for obvious reasons. You know, because like I said earlier, like I've grown up in the promotion, in the company. So yeah, it's always going to be my home.
Nice.
Got any questions?
Someone's dog is just wilding back there.
Yeah. Bravest guard dog to ever hide behind you. As soon as the door opens, he goes nuts.
That's all right. Dude, dogs are dope. Let dogs be dogs, baby.
I was just going to say, since you actually brought up the dog, I'm kind of curious. Who do you miss more, Dave, Gator, or Sushi?
Dude, Gator is humans, okay? Humans, they're whatever, right? Humans come and go, and animals' love lasts forever.
Truth.
I do miss Gator and Sushi a lot. I have a ton of pictures of them on my phone. I have more pictures of them than I have of my other pets on my phone. And Gator and Sushi are the boys. They're the boys. They're dope. But Dave, you know, fuck that guy.
Sydney says her mom is counting how many times you say dope.
Dude, I love that word. I say dude, bro, dope. See, this is why I fit so well in Chili Boys.
Yeah, definitely.
We say dude, bra, saw, dope all the time.
So actually, how did that come about? How did you actually come to join the Chili Boys like that?
So, I had a match the first time I ever got booked at DFW All Pro. The main event was me versus Corey, one-on-one. And Corey was one of those people that I just immediately, like, had chemistry with. Like, it's not like we even tried, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, we just went in there and we went back and forth, and it was, you know, intense. It was cool. It was competitive, and it just worked so well, right? And then I was like, this is, like, I immediately knew that Corey was one of those guys where I could have a match with him any promotion, anywhere, anytime, and it was, you know, it was guaranteed to be at least, you know, worth what you paid to see, right?
Yeah.
I knew I could always have a good match with Corey anywhere. But then I was like, you know what? What if I tagged with this guy, right? Like, what if we, like, actually did stuff together? And, you know, like, the more I had been around the rest of the Chili Boys, the more I like them. You know, they're just a bunch of guys that are, you know, like a little closer to my age than like, you know, most of the other people in the biz. But like they're just a bunch of guys that like I liked and resonated with like immediately.
Nice. Lizzie says Gator and Sushi miss you.
I know they do. I don't need you to say that, Lizzie.
And then,
How about you stop commenting and start listening, bro? She's gonna be so mad.
Like I said, you're gonna get phone calls tonight.
So talking about Corey and everything.
Yeah, I fear Lizzie more than I fear Dave. All right, what about Corey?
Everyone should. No, I was gonna say you're touching on Corey at the Rumble. You had that cool little moment with him. You know, Chili Boys. You gave similar and everything like that, and you both were wearing red. Is that something you planned on, or was it kind of just, oh, hey, you're wearing red too, cool?
Absolutely not. He threw the split on, brother, and I was like, yo, that is dope, right? And then like, you know, I'm like, you know, bipping and bopping around in the ring when I get in there, and I see Corey. I'm like, oh, cool, hey, fellow Chili brother, and we're matching. How dope, right? You can mark that off as another time I've said dope, right? And that time too. But yeah, like, you know, having a moment with Corey, you know, because like, you know, technically I'm not a Chili boy at MPX, right? I do my own thing at MPX. But to have that moment like with your friend in a big match where, you know, like it's kind of hard to predict what's going to happen and what's going on. To, you know, see a friend and be like, oh, cool, we get this cool moment together. You know, those are always fun. So, you know, me and Corey, you know, taking it to Civil Disorder, and then I yeeted his ass, son.
Well, that's what friends do, isn't it? It's a Rumble match.
Absolutely, it's what friends do.
Yeah, every man for themselves in a Rumble match. You know, you team up for long enough as it's convenient, and then as soon as you don't need it, you know, bye.
Yep.
So apparently your dope count is at 31.
No, it's not. No way somebody's been counting from the first time I said dope.
Apparently.
Absolutely no way.
That's what we're seeing.
So it's 32 now.
Okay. Okay. You know what? I trust it.
One person asked, they want to know, which you may not know the answer, but when is the official Chili Boys fanny pack coming out?
Chili Boys fanny pack?
Yeah.
We actually just came out with like the can holders, like the holsters for the cups, and those are pretty dope. But they, I know that they're expensive to make, so we're kind of limited on those. But yeah, I will run it by the Big Five, Big Chill, Mason and JP. JP gets lost a lot, so we'll have to find where he is. We'll have to locate JP, and then get his opinion, and then we'll decide what we do, and then we'll tell Clausen because we don't ask him for his opinion quite yet.
It'll happen eventually.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll just make him promote.
So obviously, you know, Mania weekend's coming up. It's really big, everything like that. We know at MPX you're fighting Gary J. You got anything else?
Gary J, baby.
You got anything else planned Mania week?
Yeah, that Wednesday, I'm actually, dude, someone's popping off fireworks near me. Someone's popping off fireworks. What was I going to say? Yeah, I got Gary J at MPX, which I'm excited about. My chest is not excited.
I was going to say, I was like,
I am.
You're going to be sore on that one.
Oh, yeah, I'll do what I can. Let's see, I got Gary J at MPX versus the World. I'm super stoked. That Wednesday, I am on a show at the Halton Theater, which I think is being promoted as a School of DFW All-Pro versus a School of Morton, as in Ricky Morton. I have no idea what I'm doing, but I'm stoked about that. It's going to be fun. Because, like, I'll tell you, like, a week ago, I had, like, one booking Mania weekend, and now I have 4, which is pretty exciting.
Nice.
So I got that School of Wharton on Wednesday, and then I got MPX versus the World Saturday. Sunday, I'm actually on Lucha Brutal, and then I am also on GWF.
Nice.
In Haltom at the Legion Center. Yeah, so that Sunday will be fun because, look, I've been doing this 3-4 years. I've never had 2 different shows the same day before.
Oh.
The double shot. I've never done it before, so now I'm pretty excited.
Yeah, I think one of the first things I noticed about that Wednesday show is you're on the poster, and right to, I believe it's the right, is Al Snow. And I'm like, holy crap, Tatum's on a poster right next to Al Snow. It's really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's cool. Yeah, like Al Snow's like next to me, and then you got Good Brothers, which is cool. Like, yeah, like, you know, like sometimes I don't allow myself to like see this and go, oh, like I'm on a poster with these guys. That's so cool, right?
Yeah.
Like sometimes it kind of just misses me, you know. But yeah, like now that I think about it, it is pretty cool to be on a poster with Al Snow and the Good Brothers, right? That's pretty dope.
Yep.
Another dope
34.
count, baby.
Yep. 35.
That's a Steiner math.
So, Chris Fulmer asks, how far are you willing to go to win tomorrow night? Will you wear leg glitter?
Chris wants me to wear the leg glitter so bad.
Yeah.
You'll get suspended.
Here's
It's a
the thing.
PED.
Here's the thing. I had actually planned on wearing leg glitter the last time me and Legs tagged together. And, you know, for unforeseen reasons, it didn't end up happening. But I will tell you this. If I ever find myself in another situation where I'm tagging with Mr. Legs, yes, I will. Tatum Manning, that's me. I'm saying it right now. I will wear the leg glitter.
Nice.
Dope.
I wasn't going to go there. That's his word.
Yeah.
And Courtney says, I love that Derek has been a pledge longer than Tatum has been a chili boy.
Hells yeah, he has. You got to know your role, brother.
So going back a little bit, talking about you grew up, you know, watching wrestling and everything like that. When you got into it, what are some things you mimicked or people you looked up to and you're like, oh, I want to try something like that. Oh, I want to do this like that person.
I don't know. How many times have people called me The Rock? Like a million, right?
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
And I mean, you know, I get it, right? I also did wear the turtleneck and the chain, and I'm going to be completely honest. Some people actually don't believe me when I say this. I did not plan that at all. It just kind of happened.
But you weren't sitting
Yeah,
there
like, I
doing
mean, because, like, I mean, this will make me sound even younger, but The Rock and Austin, you know, are actually before my time, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I didn't grow up watching Rock and Austin on TV every week, but, like, Rock and Austin is, like, my favorite feud of all time, right? Like, some of my favorite matches of all time, you know, like Rock and Austin at WrestleMania 17 and Rock and Austin at WrestleMania 19, right?
Mm-hmm.
And which I think their match at 19, a lot of people forget about that. But that was actually Steve Austin's last match, I think. Or it was his last match, like, before he, like, officially, you know, walked away from it.
Right.
But, yeah, like, those two, and, like, that, like what you were saying about, you know, being Exodus, like, two people that just, you know, naturally push each other to be better, you know, to be more entertaining, to be you know, physically and mentally more there, you know. So, like, as a kid, you know, like, growing up, you know, like, getting my hands on any DVDs or VHS tapes. Yes, I said VHS tapes. That I could, you know, find. I witnessed a lot of that feud, right? And that's, like, that was super cool. But, like, others that I emulated, I don't, it's hard because, like, when I started training, like, I feel like most people have a guy or a girl, right? Like, oh, you remind me of this person from TV, right? You know, I think that there are certain things that this person does that you could emulate, right?
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, not me, because, like, I walked in, I was, like, 6'3", you know, but I had absolutely no muscle on me at all, right? And now I'm 6'3", and I have a little muscle on me. But so like I'm tall, but I've never been like a quote unquote big guy, right? Like, you're not gonna see me go in there like toss people around. unless it's like Tommy Prince, right? Oh, I'm sorry, Derek Lawson.
Depends on which
but
show.
A lot of people say they look alike. I kind of see it, but yeah, and I think that mostly I kind of just warp the way that I work and the way that I wrestle around who I'm in there with, right?
Yep.
I could toss Clausen, but I can't toss Corey, you know. So like as far as like emulating people, I just like people who had big personalities, right? That's why I love The Miz.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I love MVP, especially when I was a little kid. I loved MVP, right? I don't know if I said this last time I did the show with y'all, but if I had two like favorites of all time, it's Kurt Angle and Eddie Guerrero, right? And that's why you'll see me, throw the 3 amigos every now and then. I don't do a frog splash because everybody does a frog splash.
Right.
I'm not, really a technician at all. I'm not like known for grappling. Although that 6 weeks that I was gone from a Christmas wish to the Rumble, I was working on technician, grappling a lot.
Nice.
And going back and watching, a few of my matches here and there, I think that it shows a little bit.
Yeah.
So you might see a little more of that from me, just in the near future.
Nice.
But yeah, I'm just always trying to learn and try new things. Sometimes I don't try something until I'm in a match in front of a live crowd and I feel like trying it,
Mm-hmm.
So as far as like in ring wise, physically, I if I do emulate somebody, I'm not gonna know it until somebody says it, right? But there are a few. I mean, everything is stolen from somebody, right?
Yeah.
I do the Fez press, a lot because I like catching people off guard. It's cool, right? And obviously, if I do the Fez press, especially if I throw the punches, they're like, "Oh my God, Austin, that man has a family," right? That's immediately what they think of, right? But it's just like taking things that you've seen and trying them to see if it works for you, and then changing some of those things or trying completely new things, right? You never know what's going to work for you until you really try it.
Right. Lizzie wanted to point out that you actually love Finley.
Oh, Jesus Christ. So I made the mistake of telling Dave that I was a fan of Finley as a kid, right? Because I was and I am. I love Finley, right? Dave Finley. But for some reason, and to this day I don't know why it's so funny, I said this to Dave, and he laughed for way too long. He's like, "This guy likes Finley," and I was like, "Okay." And he's like, "You're a Finley fan, dude. Let me tell you something, bro. Let me tell you something else about Dave. The night that me and CJ won the MPX Tag Team Championships for the first time was from Tommy and Ryan. Okay, that was my 19th birthday. All right, I walked to the back, and Dave, he is an Impact player at this time. We beat his friends for the MPX Tag Team Championship. He looks across, he's 20, 30 feet from me, and he sees me with the tag belt in my hand. He goes, "This guy's still holding his tag belt. Look at him, he's a belt mark." Loud enough for everybody to hear. This guy thinks that the most unreasonable things are hilarious, right? I think that's why we got along so well.
Yeah.
Until we didn't.
Sometimes you're best friends with the people you can be the stupidest with. So.
Yep.
Yes, absolutely, and hit the hardest, and throw off of ladders and through barbed wire.
Yeah.
Yeah. How was that experience?
Oh, it was dope. It was so violent. I loved it.
Yeah,
well, here's the thing. The first time I saw Red Rain, it was the triple threat match, and Richter was in it. I think it was Richter, Malico, and somebody else.
Wes.
Maybe Wesley. I don't know.
Yeah, Wes.
Was it? Okay, yeah. That was the first Red Rain match I'd ever seen, right? And because that was Red Rain, that was Purple Rain 2019, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And on that show, it was Menage a Trois versus Dot Mob. But I saw Red Rain, and I was like, yo, this is dope, right? Put another strike in the dope column. Because, because we have Purple Rain every year, right? It's our biggest show of the year. It's our WrestleMania, right? But, like, Red Rain is a whole nother thing. It has this whole aura to it, right? It's like, you know that you are going to see, like, violence, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, chaos. Chaos is always going to ensue. And so, like, you know, we knew that it was going to be me and Dave one-on-one. I had no idea what was going to happen. I actually came on Mainline and I challenged him to a Red Rain match because I saw that, you know, there was no Red Rain match set in place. You know, to me, that was always like Sky's thing or Wes's thing, right? Like, you know, somebody who's known to go to like a length like that to do all the crazy shit, right? So when it was me and Dave, like you see Red Rain and you look at the Red Rain poster and it's Dave Sagan versus Tatum Manning, right? And I mean, you had seen Dave, like, you know, do hardcore matches. You'd seen Dave bleed. You'd seen Dave go through tables and ladders and stuff like that, right? But he wasn't really known for things like that.
Right.
And I definitely wasn't because you've never really seen me do any of that. So being in a Red Rain match on the biggest show of the year, you know, I saw that as my opportunity to go to a new place that nobody had ever seen me go before and that I had never seen myself go before. And for what it was, like, that was challenging, dude. Because it was hot. I had blood in my eyes, right? That's why I was rubbing it out of my eyes for like half the match. You know, I have a scar in the middle of my back, a super deep. It's not long, but it's really deep from going through that barbed wire. I have a scar in the middle of my back to this day. And like because of how just different and crazy and like chaotic it was, that's like got to be my favorite match I've ever had anywhere these last 3 or 4 years, right? And, you know, like this is just my opinion, right? It's all you know, it's all based on perspective, and anybody can disagree with me, and I know they will. But that Red Rain match, me and Dave, like not only was that the best match on that show that night, but you know, in my opinion, that was the best match at MPX last year. Was our Red Rain match, you know, because like. That was just so different from anything I've ever done. Yeah. And I think that, you know, is a testament to, you know, what we're willing to do, you know, to put on a show, and to just really like beat the shit out of each other, you know?
Yeah. It was amazing, and it was exactly like you said, like when we hyped and talked about the match on Rehab and Mainline and stuff like that, I even brought it up. I was like, we've seen Dave go to this level. We've seen Philly Dave. We know Dave can do this. We don't know what Tatum can do. Can Tatum handle this? Can Tatum bring out a vicious side? And you impressed the hell out of me when you did, because it was one of those things where it's like, I don't know if Tatum can go to that level. And it was actually really great to see that match and to see your character development and everything you went to go through that. And then to hear you even talk about it, it was one of those things where it's like, is it going to be great? Is it not? And y'all fucking killed it.
Yep.
And I'll tell you what, like under the right circumstances, I would do it again. I would do Red Rain again. You know, I'll get violent, I'll get crazy, I'll get chaotic. I'll do what I have to do. You know, only if the situation calls for it, though. If Mikey B is like, "Hey, I want a Red Rain match," I'll be like, "Calm down."
Chill out, bro.
Going into that, you know, the Red Rain and everything like that, is there anything you really kind of studied for that, or you just kind of go, nope, I'm going to go out there and beat the shit out of my friend?
Yeah, the second thing, right? Because what really do you study, you know?
Right.
Like, you just, like, you know, you the way that I see it, you walk into that situation, and you have all these things at your disposal, and you're like, I'm just going to go insane, right? And we'll see what happens. And, you know, what happens, what ensues. And what happened was, you know, ended up being pretty dope.
Yeah.
Right? You know, I took a hailstorm from an apron to the table. I got power bombed I actually went for a moonsault, which is, you know, really dumb because I've never done a moonsault. You know, But, I was feeling like Terry for a second there, so I was like, screw it, I'll go for it. And then, next thing I know, I get power bombed through a long piece of plywood with barbed wire on top of it, right?
Oh, yeah.
I stapled my friend in the balls, right? Like, just crazy stuff that, like, I never saw myself doing. But then when I got to that moment, I was like, yeah, I'm going to do all this.
Yeah. Yeah, I was just curious because, like I said, we obviously, you're talking about it. You watch WWE, you watch, pretty much the ruthless aggression era is what you grew up on, technically.
Yeah.
Once, because a lot of people, myself included, when I first started watching wrestling, it was only WWE. That's all that was around. Then when I grew up, I learned, there's independent, there's ROH, there's Japan, there's stuff like that. Are you one of those that constantly seek out other things too, or are you still mainly big TV product?
Well, see, like, as a kid, yeah, like, the only knowledge of pro wrestling that I had was WWE.
Yeah.
But see, when I started growing up, I didn't learn about, like, Ring of Honor. I didn't learn about New Japan. I didn't learn about, any of the other companies that operate today. But instead, I learned about, everything from the past. I learned about the territories in the South throughout, like, the 70s, 80s, and 90s, right? Early 90s. I learned about the Crockett's, the Gagnes. I learned about ECW, right? How it was Eastern and then it was Extreme, right? Like I just kind of regressed in time and I found out about all this other stuff that had came before, right? Everything that had led up to WWE. And so, that's where I found out, that's where I found a lot of Terry Funk matches, right? One of my favorite feuds of all time, like 20, 30 years before I was born is Dusty Rhodes versus Ric Flair. That's where you find like Starrcade, Ash of the Beach, like real old, like WCW, before it was like, when it was WCW, brother, right? And then that's where I found when like Sting and the Steiners went to New Japan, they had matches with like Great Muta, right? I love Great Muta. And then that's, what got me into like New Japan, right? Like I started watching like early 90s, New Japan. Because New Japan now, like, it's just an entirely different art form of pro wrestling from, what I learned, right? But like, back then, and you see like Muta versus Hogan, right? If you've seen that match, like Hogan does all kinds of stuff you never knew Hogan could do. Like I saw Hogan throw a step up Indy, and I'm like, what is happening, right? I see Hogan chain, and I'm like, I can't believe what I'm witnessing right now, right? Like, it's just a lot of cool stuff from the past that I found. And I'll tell you this, I had never, ever been to an independent wrestling show before until I started training at MPX.
Really?
I hadn't even been to a show at MPX before I had my observation day at MPX.
Yeah.
So, like, as far as, like, the basics and as far as, like, how pro wrestling operates, like, on a smaller level, I had no knowledge of it until I started at MPX.
Wow. With everything we're talking about, everything like that, you're obviously, and most people I think would not disagree, your greatest asset is your talk, the way you talk, your charisma, everything like that. Is that just all natural? Have you always been like that as a kid, or was that something you kind of just found and grew in? Because I know obviously we've talked about before you're a theater kid and everything like that. But were you always kind of just this type of character and always this mouthy, or was it something you kind of just stepped into?
I mean, I think it's a little bit of both. Sometimes like there's a quote that I heard a lot in school, like from teachers and administrators that I really like to this day. It's hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. And what that quote means is you can have talent, right? That will get you to a certain point, and that will help you. But talent, like natural talent, is only going to get you so far. Like if you just depend solely on your talent, right, to get you, to where you want to be, you're never going to get to where you want to be, right? So, I guess I was just, naturally kind of, gifted. But like other than that, man, like I was an actor since I was 11, right? Since I was in the 6th grade. I did theater. I auditioned for a lot of things. I worked with like casting directors and things like that. And like it took all those years of, working really hard at, being able to portray emotion, being able to speak in public, right, is a big fear for a lot of people.
Yeah.
But it took me a while to just get over that. And now I'm at the point where the more people I have in front of me, the better, and the more motivated I am, right? Like I wish I could perform in front of a crowd of 5,000 every week. That would be dope, right? But yeah, so I'd say that I was kind of naturally gifted with that, but I also worked really hard at it, for a long time. Like I realized that I had that talent, and I just knew that if I was going to capitalize on it, I needed to improve upon it. So that's how it kind of happened.
Nice.
And I like to talk shit, brother.
Clearly, and you're amazing at it. So.
Hells yeah, I am.
So, what have you been doing to get prepared for this weekend?
Man, lifting. Nah, man. I mean, other than that, I don't know. It's different, man, because I've never had a one-on-one match with Becker, right? We've had the 2-on-2s. It was Menage a Trois versus Impact players. It was Sagan Manning versus Larger Than Life, right? But now it's just me and Becker, right? And it's never been like that before. So I don't entirely know what to expect. There will be a lot of other factors. I am almost 100% positive with the way that things have been going since I came back. So I mean, there's really no telling, dude. That's why I say whatever happens, happens. The way I see it, this match is what these last 3 to 4 years have been about for me.
Yep.
Before tomorrow night happens, I've only had one-on-one match for the MPX championship. That was versus Sky de Lacrimosa, and that match got ruined by Casey Clay.
Yeah.
I was hoping that Casey Clay was still going to be MPX champion by the time I came back, because taking the MPX championship from Casey Clay would have been pretty sweet. But now it's Becker, which I mean, it is what it is, right? So yeah, these last 3-4 years, obviously I've wanted to be MPX champion since I got to MPX, since I started training, before I even had a match on the show, right? Before I even knew what I was doing, before I could talk on the mic, as good as I can now, before I was, athletic at all, right? What feels like forever, but what's already passed. I've always wanted to be MPX champion. So that's what tomorrow night is about. And let's say theoretically, Ed, that I don't do it. I can't pull it off, right? Something happens and I lose. Will I be upset? Yeah. Will I be disappointed? Yeah. Will I be pissed off? Sure. Right. But I'll just have to learn with it. I'll find another day. But if I do pull it off, if I do win the MPX championship tomorrow night, and something tells me I will, because that's my confidence, it would be the payoff to everything that has happened up to this point, and it would be pretty dope.
Nice.
Speaking of Casey Clay, given the history that you have with him from the Cold Day in Hell a couple years ago to, him turning on you and Frankie and turning Frankie on you, and everything, what was going through your mind when he came and made that save the other night?
Well, of course, everyone's going to be like, oh my God, Casey Clay, he did the right thing. Screw that guy. No, I'm playing. Well, I mean, here's the thing. Casey was a guy who came up, in a similar way that I came up, right? He came up with Noah. They were a tag team, right? Mm-hmm. We didn't know a lot about them. They were just, 2 dudes who were good friends. They were, cool. They were fun. They were charismatic, right? The crowd liked them.
Mm-hmm.
But then, Casey, he attacks Frankie. He blames me for it. He turns on me. He turns on Frankie. He turns on our crowd, right? He has this whole new attitude to him. And as much as it pains me to say, it did wonders for him, right? I mean, he ended up, I think a multi-time prospect champion. I think he won it twice.
Yep.
And now a former MPX champion, right? And yeah, it does sting a little bit to know that this guy came in. By the time I was a 2-3 time Adams champion, he's already been MPX champion and I haven't, right? But I mean, he's gotten himself to where he is, just the same way that I've gotten myself to where I am. So, respect to that. But you can save me, you can help me all you want, but that doesn't make us cool. After all that, right? The lesson that I've learned, I'm a 4-time MPX tag team champion with 3 different partners. The first 2 turned on me. The last one being Red, aka Wendy. I got hurt, but by the time I come back, he's got this whole new attitude to him. So the lesson that I've learned, not just from Casey Clay, but from many others, is who can you really trust at the end of the day that's not you?
Yeah.
And the answer is you never really know.
Yeah. You did touch on a little bit the shoulder injury, everything like that. Is that because you, like you said yourself, you've been wrestling pretty continuously for about 4 years. That was kind of your only time off, really. Is that probably one of the more serious things you've had happen, or like how? Basically, I guess in a sense, like I said, 4 years straight and not really injured. That's pretty impressive.
Mm-hmm.
I've had like mild injuries, here and there. I mean, and other from waking up on Sunday mornings feeling like an 80-year-old physically, right? That's just going to happen to you. Yeah, man, that's the first time that I ever really needed time off.
Yeah.
And it sucked, like sitting home for 6 weeks, right? And like, Saturday night comes around and I see all the posts and the graphics and I'm like, man, I'm not on that show.
Right.
And that feeling just kind of like guts you, like, man, all this cool, exciting stuff is happening and I'm not involved in it. That's by far the worst part, right? But at the same time, I realized the situation that I was in, and I kind of had to say to myself, I'm 21 years old, and I have to be the only 21-year-old on the planet that I know who doesn't go out and get like wasted and have a dope time every Friday, Saturday night, right? So I tried that for a little bit. Didn't last long for obvious reasons, but I took the opportunity to make the best of the situation that I was put in, and that's really the way that I approach a lot of things in my life.
Right.
My voice just cracked really bad. I don't know if you picked it up. It's like live. Pull it. All right, but yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Let's go with the hypothetical here of you do win tomorrow night, and obviously you have the confidence that you're going to do so. There's also the Prospect Championship match tomorrow night between Red Chambers and Noah Navarre. If you had to pick, who would you rather get the belt and come after you?
Well, I had a one-on-one match with Noah, and I've had a one-on-one match with Red. You know what? I say whoever wins. But like, you know what? If Red wins and he wins one-on-one, no help, no Kirby, no Brent, no Fox, right? No Becker, no help, then I will gladly defend the MPX championship if I win it against Red, right? However, I did just whoop up on his ass like 2 or 3 weeks in a row.
Yeah.
I don't think he necessarily deserves it because the Chris Jericho Wendy hybrid has been pissing me off just a little bit recently. So yeah, I would love for Noah Navarre to win the Prospect Championship, and even if I didn't win, let's say I don't win and Becker pulls it off somehow. I of course I would want to see Noah chase that, right? Because I don't think we've really seen Noah Navarre on his own a lot. We haven't really gotten enough of like him, right? So I think if he had that opportunity to really like break out and get pushed, push himself to a new point in his career, that'd be dope for him. But if I lost tomorrow night, I've also never been Prospect champion, so there's that.
Very true.
Hey, you chase and win that, and then go get the MPX championship later. That'll make you another Grand Slam champion.
Yep. And I'm tired of listening to Dave talk about how he's an MPX Grand Slam champion. So, no, I'm Dave. I've done everything. I was trained by Drew Gulak.
So obviously, short-term goal obviously is to win the MPX title. What is your long-term goal out of wrestling? Like, do you want to just be an independent wrestler, make a living off that? Do you want to be signed to WWE, AEW, New Japan? Like, what is your kind of long-term goals in this career?
Man, I walked into this just wanting to be on TV, just wanting, whether that was WWE or, with where AEW is now. I just wanted to, end up on a platform where, all this work and art that I'm doing can be appreciated, right? And that's still my goal, right? I'll say that that's still my goal. But you never know where you might end up, right? You might, like, somebody might want to end up in WWE their whole career, and then they end up in New Japan, right? Somebody might want to end up on AEW so bad, and then they get signed to the Performance Center, right? You never know what's going to happen. Like what's her name? That girl Roxy, right? She's got signed to the Performance Center.
Yep.
That's dope, right? That's insane because she's like me, she's super young, and she's still got a bunch of time ahead of her. Like, seeing that is like really cool, And I think it's ridiculous to see your peers or people who come from the same place as you and get jealous. If anything, I see things like that, and it really gives me hope, because sometimes I feel like, man, if I had just started training when I was like 14 or 15, I'd be so much better than I am now. But if that's the mindset that you have, then you're never going to be happy with yourself and your work and what you have, right? You have to look at what you have in front of you and think, what is the best way that I can take the situation that I'm in and make it benefit me.
Right.
I have goals, right? But at the same time, what happens, and I'm just going to roll with it.
Nice.
Adam Chavez says, make the match. Red loses, he buys winnies for everyone in the building.
Oh my God. That's a lot of 4-for-4s, baby. Oh my God. You know what? I'll drive him to the nearest Wendy's just to stand in line behind him and record him buy all those 4-for-4s. Oh my God. Richard, make the match.
Richard watches this.
I was going to say, I don't think he's taking your call.
Yeah, I say that as if Richard is going to listen to me.
Yeah, he seems to have had it in for you lately. I'm wondering what you did to him.
Dude, I didn't do nothing besides throw that mic, but that's not even that big a deal.
Yeah, especially since Exodus is like spiked that thing.
I would say I spiked it. I'd say I laid it down. I'd say I tossed it. I'd say toss is the most aggressive word that I'd give it. But if this is about throwing the mic, then I gotta say, if I could go back in time and not throw the mic, I would still throw the mic.
Definitely sounds about right.
No.
We have any other questions?
No. You're apparently at 40 for dope, though, by the way.
Am I?
Yeah.
Good.
Courtney asks, would it be a 4-for-4 per person?
What's up?
Courtney asked if it would be a 4-for-4 per person.
That Red would have to buy?
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what? How about this? If Red loses, I will do everything that I can to actually force him to buy 4-for-4s for everybody. Because, worst comes to shove, for Red, but, this is the best case scenario for me, because this scenario is awesome. Let's say, we pack out a house, right? And we got, I don't know, what's our max occupancy?
250, I think.
Yeah.
250.
250?
Yeah, I think.
All right, what's 250 times 4?
That's 1,000.
I failed math.
That's 1,000.
Somebody do the Steiner math, brother.
That's 1,000 plus tax.
Actually, 25 times 4 is 100, right?
Yeah, so it's 1,000.
So you just put a zero on there. Okay, yeah, Red spends $1,000 on 4x4s.
He's gonna have to break
And
out the Pokemon money again.
I myself would pay $1,000 just to watch him spend $1,000 on 4x4s.
Jeez.
That would be funny.
Sydney says Richard better not do anything tomorrow.
Oh, you know he will.
Yeah, Richard, stay out of it.
And Sydney also says, I'm going to hold you to that.
Wait, said what?
And Sydney says she's gonna hold you to that.
Of making Red buy the 4x4s.
Okay, I was going to say keeping Richard out of it or making Red buy 4x4s.
Making Red by 4x4s.
Both?
You can hold me to both. I'll do what I can. I'll make things happen. I'll make calls.
Yeah, I was gonna say, it's like, do you have any kind of plan to counter Mike Fox?
Mike Fox, yeah, that's like, to me, that's the most interesting part of like all of this, right? Because I know he was in a match last week, but man, because like when I started training, Fox was like a beast,
Mm-hmm.
and like he was one of those guys that like I'm not scary, but he's definitely intimidating. He's definitely got this like aura to him, right? And Fox is capable of, like, I've seen what Fox is capable of, right? I will say this, though. I don't think Mike Fox knows exactly who I am. I don't think Mike Fox has seen a lot from me. So I will say that I know what Fox is capable of, but Fox doesn't know what I'm capable of. So if I see him, I see him. If I don't, I don't. Like I said, we'll see.
Red says, screw y'all.
Of course, stay out of it, Wendy. They didn't ask you on the show. They asked me, Wendy.
Yes, Sydney, please make the signs. Please.
That's Wendy's sign. Hey, is Red still commenting?
Yep.
Ask Red if he knows the actual Wendy. You know the actual Wendy?
My strength is only 14.
Wendy? Wendy's nuts in your face, son. Got him. God, I'm too good. Too good. Not funny at this point. I called Red Wendy, but when me and Red were tagging, I actually got the idea for that from Landon. Landon these nuts on your face, Red. Take that, son. Dude, I'm too good, bro. I'm too good.
Yeah. He's stronger than I am.
Jeez.
Anybody?
No, not really. Just commenting on
What's
how
up?
funny
Yeah.
Wendy's nuts is.
Dude, oh my God, if I heard a Wendy's nuts chant, I would absolutely lose my shit.
Well, there you go,
That's
Sydney,
gotta
Kelsey.
happen.
You have a goal from Tatum
No.
for tomorrow.
Remember, Victoria's not allowed to be part of that.
She'll break out of the Stockholm syndrome. It'll happen.
Oh,
So, any other questions?
no, not really.
Okay. Well, it's almost 10 o'clock anyway, and that was about the time that we had booked. So, thank you very much for joining us,
Oh,
Tatum.
okay, cool.
Yes.
Yeah, no problem.
Thank you. It was awesome.
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen,
It
make
was
sure
dope.
you...
It was dope. It was dope. Is that Steiner math counters? Bet you
I
don't
was just-
remember how many I just said, son.
I was going to say, we got to hit at least 50, right? That's got to be your going out?
Yeah. So I think he's got like 4 more.
All right, that's 4 more. That's 4 more. What's up?
Adam Chavez says, Tatum, please put Red in a sleeper and make him go night-night, then put his hair in pigtails.
Dude, do not tempt me. Do not tempt me.
I'm
Yeah,
done.
but that's
Poor
Same.
Red. Poor
that's,
Red.
that's 4 more dopes that I don't have in me. So.
Well, Yeah, once again, thank you very much for joining
Yes.
us. Ladies and gentlemen, make sure you get your tickets for tomorrow. Front row is already sold out. We're probably going to be standing room only by the time that the doors open. It is going to be a wild night. I mean, we've got Mr. Legs versus Joe Angelo Garcia, Corey Constantine versus Jackson Stone, Matt Locke versus the Mad Prince, the Lost Boys defending their title against Civil Disorder, Red and Noah both going for the Prospect Championship, Mikey B challenging J.D. Griffey for the MPX Addicts Championship, and of course, Tommy Becker will be defending against Tatum Manning for the MPX Championship. It's going to be a hell of a night. It is MPX Destiny. Get your tickets now, and we will see you. Well, we'll see you then. Yeah, we'll see you tomorrow night, ladies and gentlemen.
44 dopes.
I got your hat, Log.
All right. So we will see y'all, and keep it kayfabe, ladies and gentlemen.
Mark out.